Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Remember to like and subscribe for better food next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Wario from the Mario games. For those unfamiliar with the lore, Mario had to turn himself into a Heartless to save Princess Peach, which created a nobody. The nobody was found by Magic Koopa, who changed their name by adding a W, which is actually the Greek letter psi, in a desire to form the Psi Hammer. Probably, I don't know. I just know that he farts on people in Smash Brothers. Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need the Faerun equivalent of a motorcycle. I'm going to call it something metal that we can mount. Next, we need to be stinky with some poison gas that gets better the longer we've held it in. Finally, Wario Man. We need to put on a costume to have all the powers of a god, a really gross god that would be uncomfortable to hang out with. So, like Zeus. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just make sure that you have enough brain power to fix your bike. Intelligence will be number 1. You might seem like a dummy, but you're a master crafter of microgames. Dexterity after that, despite your size, you make smooth moves. Constitution next, despite your smooth moves, you've still got plenty of size. Follow that up with strength. I'd like it to be higher, and actually it will be later. Don't worry. Wisdom is a bit low. You can't smell as bad as you do with a high perception. Eventually, you'd just have to take a shower. We'll dump charisma though. You're really rude and not as handsome as you think you are. And neither is Wario. Boom! I roasted you, the audience member. Like and subscribe out of shame. Wario is a little teapot in that he is short and stout, just like a stout halfling. That means he gets +2 dexterity and +1 constitution. Halfling luck, so you get to re-roll natural ones, which is pretty stellar. Halflings are brave, so you'll have advantage on saves against being frightened. I think you might just be greedy enough to ignore the dragon sitting on the gold. And you get stout resilience for advantage on saves against being poisoned and resistance to poison damage. You eat motorcycles. And if you are what you eat, then you're part motorcycles, and motorcycles can't be poisoned. Our starting class doesn't give us any physical skills, so grab athletics and acrobatics here for when you're actually in a platformer game, not just a 6-second micro game. Could you do D&D in 6 seconds? Probably not, but it might be fun to try. We'll kick things off as an artificer, letting us grab 2 skills from the artificer list. Sleight of hand and arcana would be my picks for picking pockets and using the stolen money to invest in a video game company. Magical tinkering lets you do things to tiny objects, little messages, puffs of smoke, tiny spells. Basically, it's WarioWare, but on a cup, shoe, or a pair of dentures. Now that's what I call cross-platform. For cantrips, Poison Spray forces a Constitution saving throw of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and intelligence modifier on a creature, dealing 1d12 poison damage if they fail. Since it's a cantrip, it will actually scale up with your level, meaning that the longer you hold it in, the deadlier it'll be. Mending puts 2 pieces of something back together or fixes a crack in something, which will be good when people break your motorcycle. For some reason, you put a motorcycle on the field, everyone forgets that you're even there. They just want to break your ride. For your first level spells, you're a Mario character, so how about the jump spell to triple your jump distance for a minute, or Long Strider to make you run 10 feet faster for an hour? I know we take these a lot, but hey, a lot of characters are good at running and jumping. Second level artificers get infusions, special magical items that you can switch out on long rests. Kick things off with enhanced defense for +1 to your AC and a suit of armor, or overalls if we're saying you're wearing padded leather. Wario says he's not actually chubby, it's just his clothes. Maybe he's right. I mean, he's not. You can make him swim in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, but he could also have bulky overalls, you don't know. A bag of holding is a bag that's big, always weighing 15 pounds even if you put 500 pounds inside of it. It's got 64 cubic feet of holding, but let's be real, your DM probably is never going to call you out on that. Cap of water breathing lets you breathe underwater. I know everyone looks forward to a water level, but now you can't die during one. Finally, enhanced weapon lets you add 1 to the attack and damage rolls of a weapon. You tend to slap people around with your big meaty hands, but you can use hammers occasionally. Heck, you're an artificer, you could just use a real ass gun. Third level artificers can choose a specialty. Battlesmiths are battle ready, letting you use your intelligence modifier for weapon attack and damage rolls with magical weapons. Beam swords, golden hammers, and baseballs that phase through reality to hit people I think would all count. You also get a steel defender, which is a medium-sized construct, meaning you can mount it. Motorcycles are also medium-sized metal stuff. What a coincidence. There's a stat block for it in the Eberron book, but basically it can jolt things and make you harder to hit as as a reaction. It only dodges on its turns unless you give it an order as a bonus action, which is actually okay. You don't actually have that many things that use your bonus action. You can also learn the shield spell to add 5 to your AC as a reaction. Technically, everyone in Smash Bros. Can learn this, when you think about it. 4th level artificers get an ability score improvement or a feat. The mounted combatant feat lets you make an attack with advantage against creatures smaller than your mount, so small things. You can also take hits aimed at your mount to protect it, and your mount takes no damage on successful dexterity saves and half damage on failed ones. It's evasion for your motorcycle with 2 other things, and by itself, evasion is a 7th level ability. This is a good feat. 5th level artificers get an extra attack, letting you attack twice with your action instead of once for better combos, especially when you mix in that motor. You can also learn 2nd level spells like Aid to give up to 3 creatures 5 extra HP. It's not temporary, it's just like extra for 8 hours. Give it to Wario, your motorcycle, and Ashley. The Ashley theme slaps. Everyone knows that. If you don't, listen to it. You'll know it slaps. 6th level artificers get tool expertise, letting you double your proficiency when you're using tools you're proficient with to fix up your bike. You also get 2 more infusions. Boots of Elvenkind give you advantage on stealth checks, even if silent but deadly isn't always your brand. That's a fart joke, everyone. Cloak of the Manta Ray upgrades the cap of water breathing by also giving you a 60-foot swimming speed, which will actually make you faster in the water than you are on land. Wario's Woods, more like Wario's hood that helps him swim. Goods? 7th level artificers get Flash of Genius, letting you add your intelligence modifier as a reaction to an ability check or saving throw of creatures within 30 feet of you an amount of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier. Normally, you wouldn't want Wario flashing you, but if it stops you from dying, actually, honestly, I think I'd still prefer death. 8th level artificers get another ability score improvement. Let's use it on our dexterity because you're just as nimble as your good aligned rival. 9th level battlesmiths get arcane jolt, meaning your motorcycle can heal 2d6 when you eat it. You don't have to eat it in D&D, but imagine the flex of biting your own robot to restore your health. It can also deal an extra 2d6 force damage with its attacks. Pick what you want, but you can only do one of these things an amount of times equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest. You can also learn 3rd level spells, and your hefty speed is worthy of haste for doubled movement speed plus 2 to your AC, advantage on dexterity saving throws, and an extra action per turn to dash, disengage, or get this, attack. If you care about the damage of Wario Man, this will be your best concentration spell to use. However, after it ends, you'll have to take 1 round off of actions and reactions as you recover. 10th level artificers are magical item adepts, letting you attune up to 4 items at once, which is great because you also learn new infusions at this level. Boots of Striding and Springing triple your jump distance and sets your speed to 30, which is nice because you're a halfling, so you actually can benefit from that. You can't jump further than your maximum movement, but if you have haste up, 72 feet of horizontal jumping is an option if you've cast the jump spell and dashed. This will get even more stupid later. Don't worry. Cloak of Protection is Wario Man's ideal cape, giving you +1 AC and +1 saving throws, making you harder to hit. 11th level artificers get spell storing item, letting you store a spell of 1st or 2nd level into a spell casting focus at the end of a long rest that takes an action to cast. The item can then be used to cast that spell an amount of times equal to your intelligence modifier, using your intelligence modifier if it's a spell that uses that, and the creature using it has to concentrate if it requires concentration. Go for jump to outjump the jump man without having to waste your slots. 12th level artificers get another ability score improvement. It might seem weird to invest in dexterity instead of intelligence because, you're an artificer. Shouldn't you invest in the stuff you're using? Maybe. But no, Wario needs monk-like dexterity because I kind of wanted to make him a monk, but then I didn't because we needed other stuff more. It'll work out, don't worry. 13th level artificers can learn 4th level spells. Stone Skin gives you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for an hour if you want the more invincible piece of being Wario Man, since this is also concentration. Personally, haste is my favorite spell in the game, so I'm going to recommend that, but up to you. 14th level artificers are magical item savants, letting you have 5 items attuned to you at a time, and it's time for more infusions so we can really start fully breaking this character. The Belt of Hill Giant Strength makes your strength score 21. Sure, that makes weapon attacks good, but more importantly, it sets your maximum horizontal jump distance to 126 feet and your vertical jump distance to 48, so you'll be taking home gold at the Olympics. When we have them. Again. Sad day. Ring of Protection stacks with Cloak of Protection and does the same thing, +1 to your AC, +1 to your saving throws, which just makes you harder and harder to hit. 15th level Battlesmiths get an improved Steel Defender thanks to the improved Defender ability. This bumps your Arcane Jolt bonus damage to 4d6, adds 2 to the Defender's AC, and it deals 1d4 plus your Intelligence modifier in force damage when it deflects an attack. Have you ever tried to blow up Wario's motorcycle and then just end up getting hit by it instead? What a bummer. 16th level Artificers get an ability score improvement or a feat. The Fighting Initiate feat is from an Unearthed Arcana, letting you learn a fighting style from another Unearthed Arcana, Unarmed Fighting. This makes your unarmed attacks deal 1d6 plus your Strength modifier and damage, or 1d8 with 2 free hands, and you deal 1d4 damage when you grapple a target, plus another 1d4 when you pummel them on the following turns. Thanks to the Belt of Hill Giant Strength, you've got more strength than a fighter could ever possibly have, along with all of the other Artificer stuff. It might seem greedy to have all that power, but hey, that's just Wario playing to character. 17th level Artificers can learn 5th level spells. Skill Empowerment lets you give a creature expertise in a skill it already has proficiency with for an hour. So now, in addition to being as strong as a giant, you'll also be as skilled as a giant that's practiced really hard to be good at sleight of hand. Her name is Grunta. She wants to be a close-up magician, but the villagers are too afraid of her. It's an NPC in one of my games. Shoutouts to Grunta. Anyway, 18th level Artificers are magical item masters, letting you attune up to 6 items at a time, which is also the amount of daily infusions you can have active. What a coincidence. So pair the Boots of Striding and Springing, Cloak of Protection, Ring of Protection, and Belt of Hill Giant Strength with a Headband of Intellect for 19 Intelligence and an Amulet of Health for 19 Constitution. This will make your stats 21, 20, 19, 19, 10, and 8. So you're still not great to talk to, but you're a living god, so people might reconsider it and put up with you. 19th level Artificers get an ability score improvement, and what the heck, maybe get your wisdom up? You don't actually need to invest in strength, dexterity, constitution, or intelligence since your superhero costume just bumps them to godly levels, and charisma feels wrong because you're incontinent. Our capstone is the 20th level of Artificer for the Soul of Artifice, letting you add 1 to your saving throws for every item you have attuned to you. And when you normally would hit 0 HP, you can dispel one of your infusions to stay at 1 HP instead. In terms of class capstones, this one is very good. Let's talk about it. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, your saving throw bonuses range from +7 to +18 thanks to the Soul of Artifice mixing with your protection infusions, and 19 base AC will make you hard to hit with attacks. You're also an excellent frontline fighter with a strength score that breaks the cap and arms that hit whether you're armed or not. Finally, your motorcycle is basically a second fighter because it fully is a second fighter with offensive, defensive, and healing abilities. For weaknesses, you're ugly and you're not good at talking to people, so charisma checks could be rough. Your passive perception is also lacking, so you could be surprised if you find yourself stumbling into traps. Finally, most of your spells are buffs that require concentration, so you can only have 1 up at a time. Boy howdy, we sure stretched for those weaknesses, didn't we? Wario Man is supposed to be a temporary power-up, but for you, it isn't. You're a halfling god of death on a motorcycle with a big brain to get all the coins in the kingdom. Just maybe carry some Febreze with you, because the thing that stinks the most is being alone. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Footage from this video comes from our side channel, Tulak and Mango, where Neighbor coached us. Follow him on Twitter at @TheRyanNeighbor for awesome Smash content. And sub to Tulak and Mango, because that's where the video is.